Now we have moved into the Clarke Hess Museum Room, and we are standing in a room that was added to the original house. The original house was from this wall over. They wanted to add a larger kitchen, so about 50 years after this was built, this was added on as a larger kitchen. And one of the things we note in the stonework is that this used to be a door instead of a window, which was very typical to have two doors, one where you enter the kitchen and one, the parlor for receiving guests. So one of the things you'll note is the deep windowsills throughout the house. The walls are 20 inches thick of stone, which is the same as castles built in England. And I wanted to mention that this house was built in 1750 when it was under the rule of King George II of England. So it was a British colony when this house was built, which means that this house has seen every event in American history, which is kind of cool. If the walls could talk, it would be very interesting, I'm sure. So we're standing in the museum room, and this is a collection of Manheim Township history specifically. So what you are looking at are different artifacts, and I wanted to point out a couple things. I usually ask people, what do you think these quilted pieces were used for? And I get all kind of answers, but they are actually called privy bags, and they were hung in an outhouse. And as they collected strips of paper or whatever they could use for toilet paper, they'd stuff it in the side. It's an open pouch, and they'd stuff that in there. Well, this became an art form. This was, believe it or not, and Clarke Hess actually wrote a book about privy bags. He had 120 in his collection, and he donated these two to us to show just how decorative they could be. They were very creative people. What you see below is a collection from the Mayer family. The Mayer family is the family who owned the beautiful French farmhouse of Belmont. And these are different pieces that were embroidered by the different women of the family. We have a history here about the farming family if you're interested to read that as well. There's other small little books and things that they owned. And then over here we have a bucket and a saffron cup that is painted by a local well-known folk artist, Joseph Lur. And those are very valuable pieces, believe it or not, that were painted by him. He was really famous locally for his work. And then I wanted to point out this unusual looking piece here. Can you guess what that is used for? That is a jack used on a Conestoga wagon. Now, what's interesting is that the different men built the jacks, but they were very proud of their inner workings, and they wouldn't tell anybody what it was. And they would always put their initials on there because they were very proud of the fact. So this was a valued piece to have with a Conestoga wagon that had wooden wheels that would often break and need repaired. And the Conestoga wagon, as you know, is famous in this area. They were built, and a lot of them were used for pioneering out west, but a lot of them were used to carry supplies to the Revolutionary War. And so these jacks were very important to keep things moving. Also, we have a cradle that dates back to the 1800s, and we have a Native American collection here of arrowheads and different artifacts of the different periods to show the different periods that these things were found. And those are interesting to look at. And up here you have a painting that unfortunately tells about the Manheim tragedy, which was the first serious crime in Manheim Township. And it was the double murder of two women by two chimney sweeps that were just kind of roaming around, and they robbed these two ladies and killed them up on, up on the mountain of Fruitville. Used to be a town up Fruitville Pike. Blossom Hill is what I'm trying to think of. Yeah, the house was located on the north side of Blossom Hill. It's a sad story, and both of those men were hanged in Lancaster Square. So, yeah, and I believe that's, oh no, one of the most important things I wanted to tell everybody is to be sure when you're giving the tour, whenever you have the opportunity, to say that this house is the home of the Manheim Township Historical Society, which is a non-profit organization, a small group of people who believe in the preservation of our history, and we raise money dollar by dollar to keep this going. We are not funded by Manheim Township. This is an organization that works to raise money so that we can continue to share the history of Manheim Township. A few items that we have here for fundraising is the Homestead Cookbook, which is put together by the Stoner family and friends. And that's very popular. It's only $10. An important way to leave a legacy is our Buy a Brick promotion, where, as you saw on the walkway coming in, we engrave the bricks with whatever you want to say on it. And this is a very important fundraiser for us, and we charge $100 for a brick this size, or $500 for a brick that's double that size. And that wonderful way to leave a legacy. We've had weddings where the bride and groom want to have a brick. A lot of memorial bricks are out there, a lot of bricks that just support history and want to say something to that effect. A lot of the Stoner family members have bought several bricks because this is an honored homestead of ours, because the Stoner family was here most of the 1800s. Another fundraiser is our mug, which is made by a locally recognized redware artist, Jeff White, who does beautiful work, and he made this custom mug for us. And it has his signature on the bottom, and this is $35, and that really does help us to keep this place going.
Now, is that decorative or is it functional?
It's functional.
Okay.
And what's neat about it?
Dishwasher safe.
Yeah, it is. Here on the.
Sometimes they can.
Oh yeah. It's oven and microwave safe. It's dishwasher safe.
Yeah. Wow.
And it holds up to 16 ounces. So yeah, it's very usable. It's not just to look pretty.
Okay. Well, that's important because sometimes people have decorative ones, and you have to make sure that the customer
It's functional. That's cool.
A lot of
the
people
visitor understands.
A lot of people don't like dust collectors, you know.
Right.
They want to be able to use things.
Especially the younger generation.
Yes. And here in this photograph is people I'm very proud of. They are my great-great-grandparents. That's Daniel L. Stoner and Anna Eliza Stoner. And they lived here with their 10 children, the youngest of which was my great-grandmother, Ida Stoner. They had such a big family that the farm became too small to support them. So they sold it in 1885, and they moved to South County to a larger farm. And that's where they finished raising their children. I wanted to point out the things in this case which really signify how important Manheim Township was to blacksmithing. We've had over 50 blacksmiths in Manheim Township over the years, and it was well known for the high quality tools. And many times they would put their own initials on there because it became a significant representation of their work. So that was an important industry, if you will, in Manheim Township. We have a few other artifacts that you're welcome, to look at and descriptions of here on the wall. So I believe that's, most important thing. We left the rafters exposed in this room because we felt it was very important to show just how historic this construction is. These rafters are hand-hewn, meaning sawed by hand. This was before sawmills became into existence. So if you look at how large they are and how close they are, this house is as sturdy, more sturdy than any of our homes. We often say if there's going to be a earthquake or something, we come to this house because it'll still be standing. So anyway, that's very important piece of history. The other historical fact about the house, and you can see it in the basement. You want to stop a minute?